And we're live. Hello, hello, everybody. This is Sheena, the author of The Mask Behind the Mask. And we are here today. We're walking in our victory. My Summer's not here today, but I do have my beautiful sister, Angela Thomas Smith, here helping me host this wonderful platform that we do, where we allow people to walk and enjoy themselves and take a little step into enjoying of their victory of them walking through things that they've been through. So today, our first guest is Miss Ebony. Miss Ebony, can you please tell the audience who you are and where you're from?
Yes, hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Ebony Mayo, and I'm originally from Albany, New York. Born and raised. I love this area, but don't like the weather. But definitely, love and enjoy being from New York. I have that fighting spirit, that spirit to know we're going to go through things, but definitely trial through. So, yeah, I'm a definitely representation of upstate.
Amen, amen. So, can you tell them what do you do? Like, what are you working on right now? Because aren't you about to be an upcoming author? Like, what's going on with all of that?
Yes, I definitely am. I would have to say thank you, to you that I've been writing for quite some time. I would say since I was about 9 or 10, but even a lot of my family just never knew that because I just, that was just my own, I guess, private thing or way of just getting my expressing myself. But I remember going. I think it's been about 2 years. When I went to a vendor's fair for Black businesses, and I was able to meet you and I got your book, and that just, I think, set me on the trajectory of, okay, you need to do this and you can do this. And then continually talking to you and just having those conversations, you giving me motivation. You just know how you've just been an inspiration, helping me get my book name together. And like, Ebony, you giving me the right steps, I think, and let me know that it can come into fruition. So I'm excited about my journey. I'm really ready. I feel like I'm, ready to just jump out there and take that leap of faith and let the world know who I truly am.
Okay, okay. So tell the world, who are you truly?
I am I'm a woman of many things. I think I'm like a gentle giant. A lot of people see me smile and I laugh a lot, and I'm very jovial. I always keep a smile, but as you know, you said the mask behind the mask, there is pain. You know what I mean? There are things that go on where a lot of people just don't see that side of me. And most people, as you know, if you're that strong person in a lot of people's lives, they never know when something's really going on with you. And if it's, it's like you're always trying to be that strong person for a lot of people. I definitely have a heart of servitude. So even from a child, I've worked with the intellectually disabled and constantly either volunteering or just, giving back. That's something I think that just was instilled in me just from growing up, always knowing that or feeling like someone had it worse than I was, or someone had different afflictions and I could do something, whether it was just to be a listening ear, to provide a service, or just to give my time. So I definitely say I'm a humble servant of God. I'm a woman who loves my family. I definitely care for my community. I come from this community. Even though I moved away for quite some time, just coming back home, realizing that, this was where I was meant to be for this time being. So I would say I'm a woman of many facets, but definitely just I have a heart of servitude.
We love all of that. All of that. We got
Amen.
some comments in here. We have Chocolate Milk saying good evening, everyone. We have Gwent. She says hello. And we have
Hello.
Pam says hello, family.
Hey.
So, look, see, now you have been welcomed into our family.
Oh, see, now ain't that good? I love family. I have a big family, but there's
Okay.
always could be more.
I don't think we can have too many family
I
members.
know, right? It's always, we like to add on. It's fine. We take them as they come.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Distant cousins and all.
Listen, you get all the cousins from another mother to the brother. You're like, hey, oh, you love.
Okay. As long as they real, I love them.
Yes.
And they
Absolutely.
welcome. They more than welcome.
Definitely. So tell me, what inspired you to write?
um, I think it was a definite way of expressing myself. Coming up as a child, And I'm pretty sure a lot of people can relate to this, where you were meant to be seen and not heard. um, and it wasn't, there was a lot of times where either I expressed my opinion and maybe felt like it wasn't heard or told, basically to be quiet. And that kind of took away my voice from a little bit. And people who ever knew me growing up, I was always a little bit heavier. And
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't, if you know me, I'm not a person who loves food, but it was a feeling, you know what I mean? It was a
Yeah.
comfort that I think I used to get. And as I got older, just trying to find a different way of expressing certain things. So, like I say, about 9 years old, I always had a love for writing. I have a love for words. And I definitely have to just give, credit and honor where it's due to my stepfather, Dennis Murray. When I remember I could not stand it as a child, but I would ask him what a word meant. He would have me
Mm-hmm.
go look it up, learn how to write it in a sentence. Then he would come back to me and just, question me on it. And, I did not like it as a child, but that just instilled in me just this value for research and the word. I love, learning. I used to just continually like read the dictionary, like, and learn these different words. Or now you guys, we call them $1 million words, but they have
Yeah.
3-cent meaning. So I'm like, okay, that's what someone meant. And I never wanted someone to be able to talk over me, or to be in a room
Mm.
or a conversation or an environment where I truly didn't understand. So
Mm.
I would say, like, it first started from a way of me being able to express myself, but then the wordplay and to be able to flow on those different words, and it kind of grew from there. And now it's where I think I've been writing since I was 9, but over the past, I would say 5 or 6 years, started doing some open mic and started
Mm-hmm.
really, stepping outside my comfort zone, and stepping out on faith. And I've been loving it. I would say I've definitely been well received, but even if I wasn't, it just felt good to do it.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, you just over there saying some words over there. Yeah, you just over there
Listen.
just saying a lot. I just been,
Mhm.
I know you've been seeing me over here just moving. I'm just like, I've been wanting to jump in, but I'm just like, no, I can't do it right now. I've been wanting to jump in, but when you said faith,
Mhm.
Yes.
and then you say you don't care if nobody, oh, wait, you said
Yeah.
some good stuff because it
You
don't
know,
matter what nobody say.
the
It don't
first
matter
piece
what
that I
nobody.
did, it was actually someone else's piece. I went to an open mic and I didn't have any of my poems, anything available. And they were like, "You want to read somebody else's piece?" I'm like, "Absolutely." You know what I mean? Like, they gave me the opportunity. So I've been learning, and I to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And that's been something that I've been growing in. And I'm like, I like this. I like sometimes not knowing how everything's going to work out, and not how knowing what that next step is.
Mhm.
So yeah, I was definitely, like you said, stepping out on faith.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you saying some good stuff over there. Cause see, that's what's wrong with us now. See, we don't got complacent. We don't we,
Mhm.
we don't got so settled and so used to what they say is normal.
Yeah.
We don't even know what a normal is because we define stuff by what they don't told us all this is.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But you said some good stuff because faith, you stepped out on it. So now he got something that he got to honor.
Yep.
When I was younger, and it's a lot of things I used to, like I said, growing up in the urban community, I just always felt different, or I was told that I was different.
Mhm.
I'm light skinned. My name is Ebony. I've even had people say, "Aren't you too light to be named Ebony?" I'm like, where that come from?
Yeah.
Or speaking a certain way, or even listening to certain music. It's like, that's white people's music, or that's, or saying that that's white. And I'm like, but what's wrong with us having excellence in ourselves? Like, I never,
Mhm.
just never understood that. So
Yeah.
always, to me, I've been considered different. There's certain things that I haven't worn. I just don't do. And it's not like
Mhm.
I feel like I'm trying to be. It's just, that's just me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Because you'll get some people that be like, "Oh, you bougie," or just like all the different things. Because I've gotten the "Oh, you bougie." I just like nice things. I like to be a certain way, and that's just what it is.
And I got the white girl stuff too.
you know.
And I'm not that like I'm
And
not that light. And I don't. I mean, if you saw me physically, saw me, you would know I'm an Amazon. I'm tall. I'm
Yes.
almost 6 foot tall, and I'm an athlete. I played sports, and I'm talking about in the middle of I was at a HBCU and got
Yes,
called white girl.
ma'am.
You hear me? I got called white girl at the HBCU.
Mhm.
I feel like, to me, that's such
That's
a
crazy.
that's such a lack of us knowing who we are.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, even it would come from either of your family or, as you said, people on the outside, and then again, as you said, projecting their insecurities or
Mhm.
their things on you, and just realizing like, no, I just who I am, and I don't have to explain that or even apologize for
That's
it.
it.
Tell them, girl,
One
unapologetically
girl.
free. Yes.
Oh, we. She all up in the words today.
Yes, she is. Amen. I'm amen going over here today. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes. I give everything. I always had spirituality, I think, about me, but it took for me to get older, I think, to
Yeah.
truly step into it and have a relationship with it. Like there's things that I used to go through, and I'm like, other people don't, feel this, or they don't go through this type of, circumstances that I made it through, and I'm like, they don't. Or I remember trying to, do things that I shouldn't have done, or let's say
Mhm.
be in places or try to be out on the block, and people like, you don't belong here, and I'm like, why didn't I say that to nobody else? You know what I mean? I just thought I'm with everybody, but
Yeah.
always being told like, no, girl,
The
something is
outcast, the
something
black
different.
sheep.
You know?
Hmm.
Yes, definitely. So
Definitely.
yeah. And that's how people tend to do. It's like, they tend to, like you said, project their insecurities and their issues and their baggage onto other people to make you feel uncomfortable when you're comfortable in what you are and who you are.
Yes.
That's why
Yes.
we talk about the mask, being comfortable in your own skin. So people don't tell
Yes.
you nothing. Because if they want to tell you something, it don't even matter.
There is a mask behind the mask, and I'm telling
Yeah,
you, behind all
it
these
is.
smiles, yeah, there's some stuff. Okay.
Absolutely.
Stuff. Some serious stuff.
Yes, ma'am.
We have another comment. Somebody said, "Thank you for being unique. You,
Oh, thank
uniquely you."
you. Thank
That was
you.
Lyrica. Yes, Lyrica. She's being uniquely her girl.
Yeah, that's definitely through a lot of growing that took me
And
to,
it
to,
takes
to do
that.
that. Yes, ma'am.
It takes that. So, are you planning on giving us some of this lovely poetry that you got going on? Like you blessing us today?
Oh,
You
I
blessing us
absolutely
earlier
would
on the.
love to.
Please, we want to hear
I would
some.
love to. So
Share
this is a
that.
piece that I wrote recently, and just I honestly, I think it was one night I couldn't sleep, and something was just on my mind, and it was like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, you know what? I got to just get it out. So
Mhm.
if you guys would allow me, I'm gonna go ahead and speak
Yes.
my piece. And the title of it is called Voice. And destiny delayed, never denied, a common thread of intellect between my father and I. Suppression of a brilliant mind, fulfillment of prosperity redeems time. Intelligence and character is the goal sought by education. Suppression of expression, anger and aggression, infections permeating every generation. Accommodation to the death of me. Polarized forces connect energy to that girl's voice, yearning to be heard, physically yearning to be seen, politically correcting oneself and denying freedom of thought, let alone freedom of expression, a voice infiltrated with power of reflection. Words are his gift. My creator floats on every syllable, anxiously fearing verbal confrontation, and faith is a dichotomy unconceivable. Vainglory cleaves one long suffering as I lay down the strength of my accomplishments. This willful spirit unto you I submit. Dishonor, disrespect, delusions, depression, desperate, defeated, devoid, and detachment has lingering side effects. When one is desperate for growth, anything is endurable. Learning to treasure one's divinity and embrace silence as strength and rewrite one's agreement with reality that great people have a track record of humility, a voice for truth, being just and respect, a voice for love and expression, my agape and epiphany connection, a voice of understanding and empathy, a voice that comes to life as paper meets pen, a lifelong journey to speak up for the voice of men.
All right, girl. Listen, listen. Dropping them jewels for 'em.
Yes,
All I can
that
say,
piece
baby,
just,
girl. That piece was deep.
Voices. Hmm.
Mm,
I
yeah,
Hear a lot of
that's
them.
me. That's all of that. That's
yeah,
Ebony.
that's heavy.
Accommodating to the death of me. Okay.
Mhm. Yes,
Wow.
yes.
Mm.
Um, you got Lyrica saying, "Yes, Queen, snap, snap, bars, right?
Thank
Bars."
you, Lyrica.
You got Pam saying yes.
Thank you,
Okay.
ladies.
Listen,
Yes.
absolutely. Bars. Yes.
Thank
Ah,
you. Thank
I
you.
can't wait for that book to come out. So do
Yes.
you have a projected time when you think you're gonna put it out,
I
or you
I can
still
definitely say I want to do it this year. As I said, just continuing and taking your mentorship. I have everything typed up. I've looked over the different packages of information that you sent me. I went and created my label. I started writing my I did my intro, I did my abstract, like all those things that you gave me, those tools I've utilized. I think it's now just for me to take that leap, you know what I mean, and actually jump. But I'm juggling right now between work and doing things in the community,
definitely?
and also I have a passion for financial literacy, so I
Mhm.
call myself a financial steward, and I want to teach the people the things that I have been taught of knowing how to use your money as a tool and a resource, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
and how we can use that to just grow. There's and working in banking, there's just so many things that I see, not just of my people, but just a lot of people that we just don't understand some basic things. And to me, you don't know what to do, and you don't know how to play the game if you don't know what game you're playing. You know what I mean?
True.
So, just being, I think, focused on those things have kind of put me a little bit sidetracked on this. But I would say I'm definitely still working. But my goal is to definitely get my book out this year.
Okay, we listen. We waiting because I know I am. Listen,
okay.
I'm ready to get all that, all those bars. Because if this is coming like that, I already know the rest of that is just, phew.
Oh, thank
Listen,
you. Thank you. Got me
highlight
blushing.
fire.
Thank you.
Listen, this is what walking in your victory is about. Listen,
That's it.
we gonna give you your roses right now and after you put the book out. That's what
Yes.
we gonna do. We gonna put you on all these platforms because we got them, and we gonna connect you. So we
Yes.
just waiting on you to publish it out.
Yes, yes. I guess
Listen.
this is again, this is pushing me. Again,
Mm-hmm.
this is increasing my motivation. I think increasing my strength and my boldness to be able to do it. So, I'm ready.
Getting you uncomfortable. That's my job as your mentor.
Well, yes, I thank you. Okay.
Well, it's out there now, and once you release it,
Mm-hmm.
its job is to do what it's supposed to do and come back to you.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
So now it God has to make it do what it do
Mm-hmm.
in all terms, or those that are on my level. He gonna do he gonna do what he say he gonna do.
Yes,
Oh,
he is.
yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
I ain't no Bible scholar, so they may not. Some people may not understand me, but see, he gonna do what he say do, because number one, you open your mouth
Yes.
and you put it out there, and he honored it, because
Mm.
the words got power.
Yes, ma'am.
We can speak life or death,
Yes.
Absolutely.
and you took the first step out on faith. So now it's just up to you to
I
to
can sit here listen
continue
to
to
you
do the
talk
work.
all day.
Just continue to do the work, and just watch God do what he gonna do, because he gonna do. See, that's
Yes.
when he give you a vision, and you think it's way bigger than what you can do. That's when you know that's God.
Mm.
Yes.
That's
Let
how
me
you
know
really know it's him.
this past summer, I think I took my niece right oh gosh, what is it called? Not tightrope. Oh my gosh. We what do you call it?
Parachuting, hang gliding,
Yes, yes,
hang
one of those
gliding.
things, right? And then they had this drop where it was called the leap of faith.
Mm.
Now it looked good going up, right? Climbed all the way up. My niece, she 13. She just, did it, no problem. Yay, this is awesome. I'm trying to tell y'all, I had a come to Jesus moment. I'm standing out there and I'm like, man, I said, I need to climb back down. I can't do it. Like I'm going through all these emotions. I feel like I was about to cry. She's like, Ebony, I promise you, if you try to go back down, it's going to be harder rather than you
Yeah.
just jump, right? And I'm like, okay, I did it. I'm here. I'm here to talk about it. But in that moment, again, like that was another moment of just, stepping out there. There was this little rope, y'all. Wasn't nothing else holding me. She's just saying, hold on to this rope. I'm like, what? You know what I mean? I'm a nice sized girl. What you mean? Just hold on to the rope. And I held on to that rope. And then when I got closer to the ground, I'm telling you, I just laid out. Like I didn't even stand up on my feet. It was just like such a blessing. I'm like, okay, I made it. But that taught me again, like, you know what I mean? Sometimes, as I said earlier, you're going to go into things and not know exactly how they work out. And as you
Mm-hmm.
said, we've always sometimes want to know what's that next step. And
Mm-hmm.
I myself used to be like that. You know what I mean? And I had to realize, Ebony, you're not going to know, and that's okay. And as you said, getting comfortable, you know what I mean, in that. And I've grown so much, and you know what I mean? God has allowed me to grow so much in that. It's like now I look forward to that. You know what I mean? If I'm not uncomfortable, I don't want
Yeah,
it.
That's it.
absolutely.
That's it.
Right.
Because you think about it, if we go through life and everything is handed to us, how can we tell somebody how to overcome something? How can we tell somebody how to stand? How can we tell
Amen.
somebody that something is gonna come at you? That you're gonna have them backbiters, you're gonna have those people that not gonna like your work, you're gonna have them people that criticize you. You might even have somebody that go on Amazon and give you a one star.
Mm-hmm.
You may have that, but then what? You learn how to press on. You
Yeah.
learn
Absolutely.
even that one person that one person cannot stop the million that's gonna come through the million
Amen.
that's gonna pass or the million that you're supposed to impact.
Absolutely.
You can get a million no and then that million
That
and
one.
one
Mm-hmm.
Isn't
Yeah.
you
that
can
like
stop
men?
doing.
When they
That's
used
it.
to say men have those they lines, right? And they try it on 99 women. If it worked one
Mm-hmm.
time, that's a good line.
That's a good one.
That's it. And that's what we gotta do.
Yeah.
But we gotta press. We give up too quick.
Yeah, and if you give up, then you'll never know if it actually really truly is. Or even if you don't try,
That's it.
trying is your biggest failure is not trying. You know what I
That's
mean? Not going for the unknown. And being uncomfortable is the first step
it.
because you're never gonna know what's on the other side until you go on faith and walk that direction.
Mm.
So you gotta sometimes just step out and get uncomfortable and just go for it. Just do it.
Yes. And like you said, keep going forward. I know
Mhm.
just one thing that was to me, I guess, like, I'm gonna say a stumbling block, but something that I constantly, I guess, grapple with was, with my education. I love learning, always love school, right? I've been to 5 different colleges, y'all. Okay, so I'm like, it was something I wanted to continue to,
Mhm.
achieve, right? And I completed my bachelor. I mean, sorry, my associates, and then went on to complete my bachelor's. And I'm still maybe about, I don't know, maybe let's say 30 credits left, and I just need to complete it. But I say that to say where I know myself, and I hope that I'm not the only one who was struggling with that, with knowing that my purpose was within me and not within being validated by that. And that was something that really I had to grapple with, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
really go and struggle. Like, listen, and I had people telling me that, but I needed to believe it, you know what I mean? And when going for different positions or going for things
Mhm.
and it wasn't happening, I'm like, well, what the heck? You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
know I'm worthy, you can do it,
Mhm.
but again, putting your validation in something and somebody else telling you that you're good enough. So
Yeah.
again, like you said, truly understanding in myself, I have
Mhm.
everything that it is that I need. You know what I
That's
mean?
it's right inside of you. It's
Yes.
you hold that power. You hold it. It's all inside of you, and it takes you to do the work, to get to the next steps. Because if we let that be a stagnant or a place that's going to stop us, we're going to stay there. You know what I mean? It's like
Yes.
you're going to be there, and it's never going to be anymore. Because that's just like me. If I allowed everything that I deal with be a stagnant, I'll never be where I am today to be able to inspire people. So
Mm.
if I never took the steps, you would have never met me, and then we would have never, you know what I mean? So my steps took other people to other steps to then get
Yes,
them where they
ma'am.
are. So always remember your power is within you. It's within you to then be powerful for someone else.
And
Because
if I
something that
can,
you have to say, you will
yes.
then inspire someone else to go to that next level because they'll watch you. Because just when you think nobody's watching, they
Mm.
are looking. They're paying attention. They're just not saying nothing.
If
Mhm.
I can just give thanks to someone who don't even know, who doesn't, I don't think they know how much they truly helped me in my journey. Where one night I was going out with a friend, and we were going into this establishment. And I'll be honest, these two men were having a conversation outside. Looked like they was having a serious conversation. I'm like, I don't want to go in there, right? So I'm like, my friend, come on. And I'm like, no, I'm okay, right? There's one way in, one way out.
Mhm.
So, but long story short, I wind up going in, and the the gentleman who wound up assisting me, like I said, opened the door for me that I had been waiting for. I wanted to teach my financial education class. And this was something where I set a goal. I had a trip planned to go to London. I'm like, Ebony, all right, make this happen within, the next 30 days, right? So I go into this establishment and we're talking, conversing, and my friend's like, yeah, my friend, she does this and work in finance. He's like, yeah, I need to talk to you. We wound up conversing. He said, you can hold your class in my business. And this business is located on Central Avenue in Albany, called Uses Forever. And I just need to shout out Chuck, because he has no idea how that opened so many doors for me. No idea. And that was, to me, again, stepping out on faith. You know what I mean? And having someone speak for me. Like, my friend is like, oh, she does this. And then he just, just took me in and I guess allowed me to use his place of business. And then after that, things took off, where I started doing classes at the the Schenectady Barn. I did a class for the young abolitionist scholars of Albany, and doing a financial health series, and just continuing to grow. But if I had never, you know what I mean? Like you said, just took that step, or he was, my destiny helper in that, you know what I mean? Where he looked, hey, Ebony, he was like, you can go ahead and do that. So I truly got to thank him and let him know how that just was a game changer, for me. And so now that I'm on here, I just absolutely just want to acknowledge him, because that, to me, like I said, just set open some doors that now, like, things are happening, and I'm like, okay, like, all right.
And I'm glad you shared that, because somebody needs to hear that, because people sit and they'll do exactly what they don't want to do. They don't want to step out on faith. They won't to it'd be crazy when you right there in your blessing right there. If you reach up, it'll be right there in your hand.
Yep.
But you won't even reach up. You too scared of what, when he don't told you, he didn't give you the spirit of fear.
Yes.
Yep.
I give you the spirit of fear. And we don't want to activate the faith, when if we put it out there, he has no choice but to move.
Yep.
He don't have no choice but to move. When you know when he knows your heart, and he knew that's what you wanted to do, he had no choice but to move when you put it out there. He already have people in place. People
yes, he does.
Lined up. It's people attached to waiting on your poetry book to come out for the lives that it's going to affect and impact. It's people that's going to hear this broadcast that need to hear that message that you're talking right now. And needed to hear your testimony that you just shared. I'm saying y'all were sharing some words, and I'm just sitting over here listening. Like, I don't know if y'all know today. I'm sure you know, Sheena, but today is National Brown Girls Day. Really? We celebrate National Brown Girls Day earlier, and it's just you empowering our brown sisters, but not just our brown sisters. We want our brown brothers to be empowered too.
Yes, ma'am.
And we talked about love and what really is love. And I tell you, while we were sitting there, it's like, God, you know me and my words. Me and my words. He downloaded in me while we were sitting there. I'm talking about, I couldn't even finish. I had to finish it while we was on air. But the L is looking past all that we see and trying to label people, because I don't have a heaven or a hell to put you in. So how can I look at you and determine what you're supposed to be, or what's on the inside of you? I don't know what gifts God has given you. I don't know what He has down in the inside of you. But I look at the outside. I look at the flesh, and I get caught all up in that, and not look at the Jesus in you. That's what that L stands for in love. The O stands for being an overcomer. Because we know things gonna come at us. I mean, if you read your Bible. Even if you're not a believer, stuff come at you.
Absolutely.
Whatever religion you practice, stuff comes at you. And I'm sure that whatever religion you practice, your Taran, your whatever it is, it show you ways to overcome.
Yes.
Yep.
And to not let that bother you.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
That's what that O in love mean. And the V, knowing your value. Knowing who you are, knowing your worth, and not allowing people to be talking in your ear.
Yep.
And them voices that be coming at you. Because then the voices that you be hearing ain't nothing but people's chatter. All that around you,
distraction. Yes.
And they distraction. You right. And that E stand for being willing to evolve.
Yep.
Evolve. Because if you don't evolve in this walk with Christ, how you plan on getting to eternity? That's what we striving for. Everything that we do here, we might not even see the manifestation of this stuff. For real. We might not see the manifestation of a lot of this stuff, but some of this stuff ain't even for us. And we don't even realize that even the
Yes.
stuff that we walking into right now, a lot of the stuff that we even walking into, that we being blessed, it ain't even coming from us because some of us ain't even old enough to think we could do.
Amen.
We got our grandparents and our ancestors to thank for that.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people are hearing this and they talk this all this. I'm gonna keep talking about it until they get it. God don't drop something in my spirit and they gonna get it. They gonna get it today.
That's what it is. You got to talk about it. And if they
Yes.
I'm saying you was talking about all these words. Y'all was dropping these words like power. Power, being positioned to overcome by being a willing vessel to empower others through your experience.
Yes. Yes.
It's like he just be downloading words like that. Just
I can just listen to you
on an
talk all day.
understanding.
I just
I
love
know
her
you, I'm gonna
attitude.
connect you to her platform because you can hear her talk all the time.
Yes.
And like today, I just couldn't stop talking. Like I don't know what it's like today. I just can't shut up. I've been going like I don't make guacamole.
I know. I
don't
feel
be on
you.
live making guacamole. Just couldn't stop talking because I
I
want
know.
people.
That's
Man,
what the Lord gave you the mouth for you to speak.
people
Before
need
you
to
leave,
know.
Ebony, I need
Yes.
you to let everybody know where to find you, how to connect with you, because my next guest
Yes.
is here. So I like for you, if you want to, go on the other side and watch from the other end, more than
Absolutely.
welcome. But let them
Yes.
know how to find you.
You
And I'm
guys,
going to connect you with Angela so that you can hear all and everything that she gives, because Lord knows she fills my cup all the time. That's why she's
okay.
my big sister.
Well,
I'm gonna-
everyone, I'm gonna let you know you can definitely find me at Epiphany Connections on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Epiphany_Connections. And if you want to reach out to me, either via email, it's theepiphany07@gmail.com. And I'm definitely, like I said, a humble servant. If there's some information I can give you, I'm willing. If there's a resource I can connect you with, I'm absolutely open to. And I just have to thank you, ladies. I'm telling you, you
You're
have
welcome.
energized my spirit. You have definitely, I think, like I said, allowed me to share myself and just be more vulnerable. You know what I mean? And just be myself. So I'm grateful.
Amen.
We're grateful, and I'll always love you come through. When that book come out, I'm having you back, just like you know.
Yes.
So you all been a blessing, and I will see you. I'll talk to you later.
Yes, ma'am.
All
And I'm
right.
gonna watch out on the other side. Have a
Have a
great
Okay.
good
night,
one. Thank
ladies.
you.
Bye bye.
Yes, the lovely, lovely Miss Ebony. Now we have our lovely author Jill. Hey, Jill, how are you?
Hi, can y'all hear me?
We sure can, honey. How
Okay,
you doing?
I'm good.
That's good. Can you tell the people who you are and what you do?
Yes, I'm author Jill Capri. I'm a self-published author from Chattahoochee, Florida, but I live in Panama City, Florida. I currently have 3 books out, Holding the Hood series and A Christmas Blessing, Blessings Before Christmas, I'm sorry. And I've been self-published now for about 3 years.
Okay. What took you on your journey of being a published author? When did this journey start?
My writing journey been started since I was a kid. I always wrote. I always wrote like poems and stuff like that. But as I got older and I started reading, urban books and stuff, I knew that's what I wanted to do. Ever since I was a kid, I always read urban books, and I just started just writing them, just writing short stories, and I really loved it. So I just started doing it. And I always said I want to be a writer. I want to be a writer, and I never did it until I got like older and finally wrote the books and self-published them on my own. Can y'all still hear me?
Yeah, it's going in and out.
Can you
Hello?
still hear me?
I can hear you
Can you
now.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you right now.
Okay. I don't know what's wrong with my laptop.
I don't know, honey, but we can hear you right now, though. Can you tell us about the first book that you wrote? What made you decide to write it?
Um, it was just something that I wanted to like write to show how it is sometimes in the hood. And I did it. And
Mm-hmm.
at first it was really good, but as I got deeper into writing, I wanted to show more of my writing skills. So Hoes in the Hood was actually just something I just wrote just to see if I could be a good writer.
And what was your feedback off of it?
I got a lot of mixed reviews off of it. But the most important thing that I took from my reviews was that I had what it takes to be a great writer.
Now, did you doubt yourself any way during this process?
I did.
Why?
And honestly, sometimes I still do,
Okay,
but I don't give up writing.
absolutely, you shouldn't. What makes you doubt yourself?
Me, myself,
So you're your own enemy, like a lot of us.
procrastinating. Procrastination is horrible. But I'm actually getting ready to release System Chose Me. I've been working on this book for a minute, for a couple months. And at first I was gonna release it last year in November,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't rush it because it's so dear to me and it's so real. So I took my time writing it. So when I deliver it to my reading audience, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be excellent.
Are you gonna tell us the title? What is it, or we gotta wait till you release it?
The no, the title is The System Chose Me.
Okay. So tell me, what's the message behind that book, and how you decided to title that?
Basically, I was a CO for about 7 years, a correction officer, and I no longer work in corrections. And I just wanted to write about my experience while working there and the way that I saw the system treat black men. So I really, really took it upon myself to write about the injustice of black men and how they're being treated behind, the prison walls. But it is a fiction story, so I did make it very interesting. And I believe the message behind it is going to be so powerful. I want to reach that middle audience. That's like my main goal because right now I do have a lot of females as
Mm-hmm.
reading audience, but I want both audience. So it's gonna be really good. It's gonna be really good. I love it already.
It
If you
sounds like it's
have
gonna
read
be
it,
really.
yes, it is.
It sounds like I can't wait to read it because it sounds like some interesting things to be getting into to just understand, what they deal with behind the bars, you know, and stuff like that. Because I'm sure it is not easy being in there.
No, it's not easy being in there. And when you're also an officer,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, honestly, and I'm just speaking honestly, sometimes it's nothing you can do.
True.
That's just the reality of it, and it's very dear to me because I have family members that's going through it, and so I couldn't show like weakness
Mm-hmm.
at that moment. So I just wrote about it, and I put a lot of time, a lot of emotions, and a lot of feelings into the book. So I'm really super excited to share it with the world, and that's why I didn't rush to put it out because I wanted it to be
This is
right.
like this is going to be a very impactful book,
Yes, it
uh,
is.
and it's going to touch a lot of people just for what I see going on right now, because there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of injustice going on, especially the corruption within the correction systems all over, all over the world, not just here in the U.S. but all
Yeah,
over the world.
all of them.
Um, I definitely I hear people stories all the time about being wrongfully incarcerated, about having these outlandish charges and sentences. Like, who gets 85 years for drugs? They ain't killed nobody.
Yeah.
They doing it to our brown people. They doing it to our brown men. That's who they're hurting. They're doing it to our brown men. It's all a tactic, and it is all it. It's bigger than what we see on the outside,
Yeah.
and it's sad because it's affecting a lot of people. You know, I understand because I have family members that's incarcerated as well. Um, there's some authors that's incarcerated that support my platform. Um,
Mhm.
there's people, and I listen to these people's stories. I've heard their stories, and I've heard, you know, what they go through. I see the videos of what is happening
Mhm.
inside these facilities. It's crazy,
It is.
you know, and we not be able to do nothing about it. It's like we turning a deaf ear and a blind eye to what's going on, and it's like they don't care because it's our people.
Yeah.
You know, they making money off of
Of
our
us.
people being away.
Mhm.
You know, they giving them pennies to their work, and these people making and running $1 billion companies. I'm not even gonna say multi-million dollars. They making $1 billion. That's $1 billion interest. Because I can guarantee you they making. And I don't care if they get bad. They can't put me off the air because I ain't on. I'm on Facebook. So
Yeah.
FDC can't shut me down because I'm on Facebook. So I'm gonna say this today. They can't. They making not 300% markup. They making a 600% markup because you charging these people $4 and $5 for a bar of soap. They probably cost us a dollar for a 3-pack, or $2.50 or a $3.50 for a 3-pack. Come on now. And then they got to pay to get their money and pay to get their supplies. Come on now. They double dipping. And then government funding stuff for them. And then big businesses coming in, all these businesses, a lot of these big name brand businesses, these Fortune 500 companies. That's why they got all these jails around instead of
Mhm.
jails. And then they recruiting our babies from third grade. They can't read by the time they're in third grade. They're gonna end up incarcerated. That's where they're gonna end up. Most of them gonna end up incarcerated because the babies can't read by the time they're third grade. They're gonna fall behind. They're gonna fall behind in so many ways. It's gonna be ridiculous. And they're not gonna graduate, and they're gonna end up in the system. That's why
Yeah.
the system is choosing the system is choosing them.
Mhm.
That's exactly why I named my book The System Chose Me, because like you said, it's so many people that go through that. And then you also have innocent people that's incarcerated,
I already know that.
that doesn't deserve it. And so what I did with my book is actually about an 18-year-old boy who loses his scholarship to play pro ball because
Mhm.
he is falsely accused of killing his best friend.
Mm.
And so in my book, what I did was I basically showed how the system break you down as a man.
Mm.
He's an innocent kid, never been in trouble, and just went to go celebrate with his friends, and just he kind of got caught up in what his
Being
friends had going on in the streets, and he was falsely accused of it. Like, even though he was innocent, the system found him guilty.
mm.
And then he's still a child. He 18. Say 18. That's not. He still is not fully developed. Even though the country say he is an adult,
But he's not.
that's still a child. Until he hit 21, 25, he still his mind ain't developed yet. His mind still developing, still growing. He's not developed enough to be considered an adult. And it's happened. It's happening too much, and it's been happening. I see people all the time, and if y'all can tune in to our show tomorrow night on Blog Talk Radio. The lady that is on the network, her name is Chinchilla. She's a part of O&E Dynasty, the other network that I'm a part of.
Mhm.
She does a weekly show on Sundays at 9:30, News Forum, where she talks about this. She talks about stuff that's affecting the brown community. And she, when we doing something that we don't need to be doing, when we being lazy and we being, she tell you being lazy too, because she Colombian, she not really in America, so she can speak on all this. But she's African Colombian. You see what I'm saying? So she can speak on what affect her. So when it affects her, like this, man, she go hard for prison reform, and she ain't even got nobody incarcerated. I hear her every week. This girl don't cry on air because somebody said they've been trying to get paperwork into somewhere in Philadelphia. But the man came on. He came on. The guy that works in the state house in Philadelphia came on air. And he talked to those people and told them if they get the papers to him, he gonna walk them for them because there's somebody sitting in jail. He's sitting in prison right now and been serving time. But he's sitting in prison right now and should be free. It's a lady come on there every week. She come on there every week going to bat for her husband because she said he's locked up. And they've proven his innocence, but they won't release him for whatever reason it is. They won't.
Wow.
And I know a man right now. He's a lawyer. He's a part of the Innocent Project in Philadelphia. He's been on her show. He talked about it. He said he served time. He got out. He cleared his name and he became a lawyer because he wanted to help people just like this. God is up to something.
Yes, he is.
I don't care what little old me, because all these people that he's placing in my path with stuff like this, I don't know. I interviewed you, but I really don't know you. But whoever, this message need to get out. It's happening too regularly. And they turning a blind eye in a deaf ear because it's not affecting them. They don't care. You look at what happened in Africa. You look at what's happening in Nigeria. The government, their own people killing the citizens. And you think the UN is stepping in? No. Why? Because they look like us and they don't care.
Yep.
Because them on them. And they figure the same thing going on over here. See, I got a lot of I guess they may be crazy thoughts for me and for a lot of people. But even with the corona, I believe these people set this out. They was trying to kill off some people. When it got out of hand, that's when they started doing other stuff. But see, it wasn't intended for us. It wasn't intended for the brown people. But when it got out of control, they had to include us.
Yes, ma'am.
They felt bad because of what happened to Tuskegee. So they didn't want to affect us with this. But when it got out of control,
they had no choice.
And so many people started out because if y'all go back and y'all look and just trace it and look at it, man, we was never affected until all these people started dying. You was never hearing them talk about black people dying, African Americans, none of them. It wouldn't even, you didn't hear them talking about it being in Africa until it got out of control and all these crackers started dying.
Yep.
Tell the truth.
So then it became a problem.
When they started dying and too many of them started dying, that's when they say, no, we got to kill some of them. See, they had already started affecting us. See, after they couldn't get us with Tuskegee, that's when they started mass prison incarceration. They kept on with the slavery because that's just another form of slavery. It never ended. They just said they're going to figure out how they can commercialize it and how they can get money off of it. And they would say that the women be free, not really be free. Because we ain't really free, because when we go to work, we make half what your males make. And if you're a Caucasian female, you're going to make more than black. And we can have all kinds of degrees. And that's just the truth.
Yeah.
That's the truth. And I'm going to shut up.
Oh Lord. No, keep going. Because people don't understand that. And another thing that I touched on, especially writing this book, was how the system poisoned our young men in their minds. You know how they're quick to call our children bad. They're quick to say that they got ADHD and that they have all of these problems, but they don't sit down and try to figure out what's wrong.
You know why they got ADHD? Because you're not stimulating their mind. because you're not giving them lessons that's stimulating their mind. You want to stick them in the classroom and you want to make them learn when they got to learn and when they got to learn, and you got to make them learn on their pace when they may be developing faster than them, and that may not keep their attention long enough. So find them something to do. Don't
Exactly.
find them something to do. Don't classify one child based on another child. That's what's wrong with this world. We classifying everybody based on somebody else. Who says I got ADHD? Who say I may just be bored with what you talking about?
Exactly.
That may be what it is. Or you just not you're just not interested. Don't mean I got ADHD. Or maybe I just got a lot going on that I need to do something else. I had
Absolutely.
another lady come on. I interviewed her, and she said they diagnosed her with that. She's I don't even know what she got about, but she said they diagnosed her with that. But you know what she was able to do during this pandemic with her ADHD that they diagnosed her with? She said she started 3 businesses
Wow.
and got her
Amen.
doctor's degree. And got her
Amen.
doctor's degree with ADHD.
That's
So
amazing.
classify her if you want to. Don't classify me. Don't put me in no box because he ain't in no box. My creator ain't in no box, so don't put me in no box. Don't tell me who I am. Let me be.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like being around me or classify, don't be around me. Let my mama homeschool me then.
Absolutely.
Say
Absolutely. So that's
Stop
what I
trying to give me a
did.
pill. That's what they doing, trying to get everybody pills.
Yeah.
yes.
So that's and I talk about that in my book as well. You know, I take my main character through dealing with mental health. Because like you said, by him being so young, never being in trouble, and he's basically being thrown to the wolves. He gotta
Mhm.
learn how to survive in an environment he's never been in.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's not an easy environment to be in, period.
It's not. Babies. It's another young lady. Follow my platform. Her husband, he has a ministry from prison to power because he lost both of his parents. He's from Florida. Matter of fact, he's from Florida. Woo, Jesus. He's from where you from, baby. Matter of fact, I think he's from your area. But he has this organization. He was thrown to the wolves too, baby. He lost both of his parents before he was age of 14. And he was forced to go live with his aunt, and he may be in age of 9, and then he was forced to go live with his aunt. And at the age of 14, by that time he was out on his own on the streets. So he, of course, was in and out. But this man now he owns his own 6-figure truck company, has 2 trucks, and has the prison to power ministry. But his wife, her son, she's dealing with the same thing. Her son, a book bag. In Augusta, Georgia, a book bag gives you 25 years.
What?
25 to 45.
Wow.
A book bag.
Wow.
Somebody don't say that. A book bag.
Mm.
A book bag.
Wow.
And couldn't even say, they make examples out of you.
Mm.
Baby ain't never been in trouble, and one of the babies was in the military home for the weekend and had permission to have a gun. Yeah. But they didn't care. Because they see this young black boy trying to do something with his life. He trying to get out of Augusta, Georgia. He trying to make something with himself. But now you got him because now he getting this. Now you want to make a snap out here. You want to throw the book. Yeah, that's happening right now.
That's
This case going on right now. So yeah, baby, get your book out.
yes, please.
People need to hear this. People need to hear what's going on because it's happening. This is real. Human trafficking is real. People don't want to talk about that either, but it's real. It is happening, and it's affecting our community more than anybody else's community, and that's why they don't want to talk about it. Because you know, them pedophiles, they want our pretty brown girls.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to talk about it because everything that's affecting us, they don't want to talk about it. They want to brush it under the rug. They want to cover it up, and they don't want to talk about it.
Yep.
Because number one, they ain't helped us deal with the trauma that they caused from the beginning. Once they deal with that trauma, then we can begin to heal, and then they won't have to keep classifying us.
Exactly. Amen. Preach it, girl.
Don't have to keep classifying us.
And when you say this book coming out, Jill, Because listen,
I have not put a release date on it simply because the more I stop writing, something else
mhm,
come up.
comes up.
Something else come up. And when I get ready to release it, I want everything to be in that book that I have felt, that my brothers have felt, that my cousins have felt, that my uncles have felt. I want it to be big, and it is going to be big because this needs to be told.
You might have to make a part two. Put half out now, another half out later, because it's gonna
I've
continue.
already thought about making a part two to it simply because what I have to say is not enough.
Yeah.
It's not enough. I still
Mhm,
got more stories on top of
mhm.
that.
I
But
can
as
imagine.
soon as I release it, the world will know.
Yeah, we'll be waiting for it. So, can you bless them and tell them where to find you, how to connect with you, and all that goodness? And when that book come out, we're gonna have you back so we can talk about it.
Absolutely. So everyone can find me on Facebook on my author page at author Jill Shante Capri. You can also find me on Instagram at Jill S. Capri. And I'm super excited. I'm super
Um,
excited to release the book, but I have to continue to put my truth in it, as
yes.
well as, kind of spice it up a little bit with the fictionist. But everything I write in this book is definitely from the heart.
And we appreciate that. We appreciate putting all your heart into it, all the information that you putting out there that people need to hear, and people need to, you're using your voice and you're using it constructive. So we appreciate all of that.
Absolutely. And thank y'all for
No,
giving me this time. Because it's been a long time since I did an
I know
interview,
it
so I'm
has.
super excited.
Listen, I wasn't sure if you was coming, but you made it. You did it, and I
Yes, I was
appreciate it.
coming. I was coming.
And you got
Thank
to press.
y'all.
You got to press, baby. You got to
Yes.
press. I don't
We,
know why I need to tell you that, but you got to press. You got to press. And he dropped that word in my spirit too. You got to position yourself,
mm-hmm.
and through your resilience, God is going to evolve you. But you
Yep.
got to also study. You got to
Mm-hmm.
find yourself in the Word. I don't care where you are. I don't care where you are spiritually. I don't care. It ain't nobody
Absolutely.
business. It ain't
Yep.
nobody business
Ain't
where you
nobody
are
even this but
between
yours.
you and God. But you got to
Absolutely.
study. You
Yep.
you got to study so He can shift you where He need to shift you, so He can shift you to
Amen.
that next level. And it ain't nothing that He told me that.
I know that's right.
So
Amen. Gotta press.
you got to press, baby. You
I
got to press.
will.
You got to press.
I
Yeah,
will.
you got this.
I will. Y'all enjoy y'all night and thank you for the
Thank
opportunity.
you. No
Thank y'all
problem.
so much. I'll see y'all soon.
Amen. You
Yes.
be blessed, sweetheart.
Yes, that was Author Jill. And we have Miss LaRonda coming up next. You ready, Angela?
Look, I have to stay ready because you
I
know
know.
what. Yeah, I'm telling you what. Look, I keep this on my wall. It's a John 7:5. It say, "My time is not yet come, but your time is always ready." So I got to stay
Amen.
ready because He can come at any time.
Absolutely.
He just got to
Absolutely.
be a willing vessel. I tell you something about being a willing vessel.
Yes. And you
Mm.
are, he sends it in them words. You hear it and you already know you got to do what it do and send a message. Hello.
Hey,
Welcome. How you
I'm
doing?
good. Can you guys hear me okay? And everything's working?
We
Okay,
hear you well.
wonderful. Okay, just want to make sure. And Sister Angela, it's so good to see you again. Who knew I'd be back here with you and now with Shay? I'm so excited. What a world. I was
Amen.
listening in and getting excited. I'm like, calm down. You got to be on in a minute. So,
You
yeah,
know
I
how
put that down. That sister got something there. So I appreciate it. I'm glad I showed up a little early. Good to see
Amen.
yeah,
you. Hey, nice to meet you. Thank you for having me tonight.
thanks for having thank you for coming, allowing us to, get to share some of
Absolutely.
your victory.
Absolutely. I love that walking in victory because that's what I'm doing.
Absolutely. And that's what we're all doing. And I give people the chance to just be graceful to walk through the paths that they've been through because we've all been through a struggle and we all been through something. So why not walk in the victory?
Absolutely.
Be that vessel that we are.
That's right. And just owning that, that statement alone is a big deal to actually stand in your own truth and say that you are walking in victory, that's a big deal. That's half the battle right there. I tell Sister, own it. You glorious, you magnificent, you own it. So I don't know if that's what we're supposed to be talking about.
So we're talking about whatever. If you want to talk about owning it, we can. But first, can you bless them and tell them who you are, where you from?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that was just a little background between us. So for everyone else, my name is LaRon B. Johnson, and I am just honored and privileged to be a part of this platform tonight. I am an author and a mother and a writer and a life coach, and I am woman. So that comes with a whole lot of hats. So Shay and I had talking about Unveiled. I'm in love with that. That's my baby book right now. And I have a couple new things happening, so I'll be able to share that with you as well.
So tell us about Unveil is the newest book out, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about Unveil, because I got Unveiled of the broken pieces.
I see that. I know. I said, no wonder we came together. No wonder. And you got a mask on the cover of your book. I got a mask on the cover of mine. So it was meant for us to be together. So Unveiled has been out for just a bit. Been working on marketing. I'm an independent author, so I'm everything. The accountant, the answer the phones. I write the book. I do all of that. With support from a great network. But Unveiled is my full-fledged novel. Mm-hmm. I have a couple of smaller pieces out, some nonfiction in anthologies, and Unveiled is the story of a young attorney who has left a small town in New Orleans, a town in Louisiana that I created in my mind, as fiction writers do. So she's from a town called Louverture, Louisiana, and she leaves to go off to school and becomes a lawyer and moves to New Orleans. And her name is L. Morgan Franklin, and she gets a call saying that her younger brother, has died. Now, her brother is actually her half brother. So she's an only child of her mother, but her father had more children.
He was a Rolling Stone.
Yes. Oh, you ain't seen a Rolling Stone till you meet this brother. She's called home. She grew up, the father that raised her, she grew up and she knew her siblings. Even though they weren't her mother's children, she was still connected to her siblings. So when her younger brother dies, she returns to Louverture. She's told that he has a heart attack, but he's a young man, 20 some odd years old. So that she finds that a little strange. And when she gets back to Louverture, she finds out that indeed his death was a murder. Mm. She goes on a quest for answers about her brother's murder, and in the process, not only finds out a lot about who she is, but finds out a lot about who the people around her are. So, yeah, right? People have been asking me, what is it? Is it romance? Is it mystery? Is it suspense? It's life, because life and love and death and family all merge together in this story of this young sister trying to find the truth. Mm. That's sort of the underpinnings of Unveiled. And, I've been so blessed and fortunate that, the reaction and response to it has been favorable. I see Lyrical 7 says, sounds like a great read.
Yes.
And so, it's just been a journey. It's just been a journey.
Listen, I'm sitting here like, well, I need to give me a nice cup of tea. Give me some tea. Let me sip and read this book.
There you go. It's a page turner. It's a page turner. And, my process around writing, I heard Angela saying how important it is to be a willing and open and ready vessel. And my writing comes through me that way. And so, I didn't intend to tell this story. This story wanted me to tell it. And, there's some twists and turns in there. I had some early readers who, were like surprised by certain things. And I said to them, I'm surprised too, because I didn't see that coming. So, sometimes I'm along for the ride with this writing thing sometimes.
As it comes, just like
Let me just take notes. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Let me take notes.
So, what inspired you to title it Unveiled?
Actually, the inspiration for Unveiled came to me while I was working on something else. I had a more family saga story going about these sharecroppers in Tennessee, I think it was. And then Unveiled pushed its way through, and I got an opportunity, I think 2004, 2005, to participate in, be one of the attendees in a writer's retreat off the coast of Georgia on Sapelo Island. And it was the first Sea Island Writers Retreat by author Tina McElroy Ansa. And so I was invited to come to that workshop by, a dear friend and mentor, bookstore owner here in Oakland, California, where I am, Blanche Richardson. And she invited me to come to this writer's retreat. And I thought, cool, that sounds good. But I didn't think I was going as a writer because I didn't see myself as a writer. I thought I was going to go to help with the organization because at the time I was doing a lot of trainings and workshops and putting together conferences. And, I thought, oh, that's what they want me to come and do. And she was like, oh, that's not what we want you to come. We want you to come and bring some writing. And yes, it's so often people see in you what you might not see in yourself.
Absolutely.
Your circle is really important. I don't know if I would be doing this without that happening. I really don't. I'd always written, I've been writing, since a little kid. I love to read. I love books. I love words. So I've always written, but I just wrote for me and, maybe read it to some family folks and put it away somewhere. Never thought about it actually as this in my life. But it's so where I'm supposed to be. That's why they're walking in victory. I feel like I'm there.
Yes. And they already knew what the victory of you was going to be. So that's why they invited you. And see, in your mind, you have already estimated something else. Like you said, you figured you was going to help set up something else. And they had you, God had a vision for you to be a writer. Like it was already planned and destined for you. He just needed you to see it and believe in you.
Absolutely. That's so key because even once I was writing, I still didn't see myself as a writer. And it took me a while to own that title.
Mm-hmm.
Again, encouragement from people saying, why do you put all the other things you do in front of writer? Like you are writer first.
Mm-hmm.
I got really serious about this thing a few years ago and, reordered my life.
Mm-hmm.
And made some real room to honor this gift and to hone my craft. And then Unveiled appeared in my hands, and I was like, "Yay, I'm here!"
Yeah, and that was just probably you having to take off your own mask to unveil to yourself.
Yeah, yeah, to just admit it because I do remember as a really young girl wanting to see my book in the library. So
Yeah.
I remember, and that's what I was more familiar with was libraries than bookstores because I think I was a teenager before I went in the bookstore. But as a little kid, I went to the library all the time. And I would write these little stories. And I had an uncle who told me once, he said, you're going to have a book on the shelf in the library. I was like, really? And you push that away and then you go do your living and raise your family and do your jobs and you don't think about that. And Black folks in writing, those were people that I didn't have in my immediate life, and so I didn't know how that even happens. How do you even become that person?
How you get to those stages, right?
Yeah. Writers were the people who I read. I never thought of myself as the, so.
I see you, Angela. Go ahead. I see you itching.
No, I love her. I love Angela. I love her.
That's my sister. I love her dearly, girl. Speak it. I see it.
It's so powerful. I just feel better every time I'm around her.
Listen,
I'm just sitting over here y'all know I just be sitting and just listening. But yeah, I'm glad you stepped out on faith and wrote because we often hold stuff in and people need to hear They need to hear this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't know how powerful we could be in what we're sharing with other people.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, just to think that, and because of just this short time, I've been like professionally in the writing game, right? I'm able to, support and band together with other sisters who are writing and, just really building a network and inspiring other folks, and using myself as an example. I'm like, if I could do it, you can totally do it. You can.
And not only that, if we not step out and do this, then what the generations to come after us, they're gonna forever say we don't have any brown writers.
Exactly.
I'm so glad we all are stepping out and leaving something for generations to come, because we said we were tired of not going in the store. I know I was tired of going in the bookstore and not being able to pick up brown books for my program, because I had a youth program and I was working with kids. And all the white kids that were in my program, they had no problem going over to the bookshelf and picking up books and reading the books, and they had no problem reading. But all my brown kids, they didn't want to read. Everything was the problem. They couldn't even tell you what was on the front of the book, on the back of the book, or either on one of the pages.
Yeah, no, that makes a big difference. That's right, and that's so important. I have a son, and as a child, I wanted to make sure he saw himself. And I would sit at night. He's 35 now, so we do have a lot more books available to us right now. But I used to sit in the middle of the night and color the faces of the white kids in the book with a brown crayon, so that before my son touched this book, he would see himself. I did that to all his books, because there were very few books with, little black boys and girls in them. But I would sit and color those faces in. I would buy Ebony and Jet magazine and everything, because black people were on the covers of those magazines, because I wanted him to see himself. So now to be the face that some of the black girls sees, I mean, that I just feel really, humbled by that.
And today is National Brown Girl Day.
Today? Really?
Yes, we had a National Brown Girl Day celebration earlier. See,
oh my goodness, who knew? Well, I love that.
I got one shirt. This is my shirt. I didn't get a shirt like y'all got. Yeah, I didn't get one of those y'all got.
Wow.
They got
Who knew?
I'm waiting on mine, so I didn't get one.
That's fantastic. I had no idea. Well, this is even more like Brown Girl Day and Black History Month. It don't get no better.
That's it. And that's what we have to do. We have to learn how to support each other too.
Yes.
That's who we are.
Yeah. Together and to say yes. I mean, and I found both of you all just from requests that you guys put out, and I was like, anything, anytime I could do, because when I help you, I'm helping you, help me, you're helping me. It's y'all in this thing together. So,
yes, we are.
I love this.
Village.
It does take a village. It does take a village.
And if we don't share and promote us, nobody else is gonna. So
no, they never have. They never have. All that we have done wonderfully, we've done it together because of each other. And so that I think is important to, to keep in mind. And I'm just of the mind that there's enough for everybody. Part of me getting anything is so that I can open the door so somebody else can get it too. I don't be there by myself.
I just said it today. What's the need me getting to the top and then I'll be at the top by myself
and
alone?
Nobody's there but you. Yeah, that's your part.
I don't want it. If I got to go there by myself, I don't want it.
Exactly.
I gotta take all my folks.
I want everybody to go with me. I know everybody can't go with me, but at least half of them.
I'm gonna do my part, on that. We all gotta kind of pull our own wagon, but it's I feel, I didn't do all this without somebody opening the door for me. So how dare I not open another door? So that's how that is. And I heard the young sister that was on earlier just talking about the plight of Black men, and in Unveiled, I mentioned her brother is killed, but he was a young man who loved his family, had a baby on the way, trying to go to college, and then something befalls him. So I thought, there's so many stories within stories
Yeah.
In Unveiled, there's, the mother-daughter dynamics. Her mother is always very condescending and very negative around her half siblings, as she always reminds her, Morgan of. Morgan doesn't call them that. Morgan calls them her
sister.
Brother, and her mother is always just adamant, that those are your half siblings, so there's all these layers, there's some Shay and I both love this whole mask theme going on. And so what does a mask do? A mask covers up stuff.
Yep. And basically, like you talked about your character, that's like her putting on the mask of how she feels uncomfortable. The fact is that the guy that she used to be had another kid, and her daughter is actually trying to build a relationship with her, so she actually doesn't like it. So that's kind of off some masks of her insecurities.
Yes. When you read this, I want you to definitely let me know right away so we can talk about it, because the name actually came after the story, because I am unfortunately not that good at titles. So, that's kind of interesting conversation for an author, and you don't know what to call anything. But I had no idea. But after the story started to tell itself, what is constant with all these characters in the story? Everybody is finding out something that was hidden. And what hides a thing? A mask. And so then Unveiled came. So I thought, okay, that sounds pretty good. Let me write it down. And then I, test it out on folks to see what they think. So, but there's a lot of mystery around that, and a lot of self-discovery. A lot of self-discovery. Yeah. For a lot of the characters, they learn a lot about who they are.
And that's with the real world. So
much just from them, from those characters, I learned some stuff about myself. And, I've gone back and read it as if I didn't write it. So and so you learn more in the writing and the reading of it as well. So I just see my role as just to bring light and encouragement. I use writing to do that. I do some speaking, life coach. Out of the work of my coaching, I started this email coaching tool, for women who didn't have a lot of time to really engage in a full-on coaching program that might, take 6 months to a year. And so I started something called Coaching for the Busy Woman, because we got tons of stuff to do. And it was a subscription email, but recently I just made it available through my new Etsy store. So I have an Etsy store now, Book Boutique by LC, ELLEC. And you can get Coaching for the Busy Woman there. And so it's 52 entries. So you can use it a week, and they give you a life tool to put in practice. So I got a lot going on. I'm walking in victory.
And this is why, I gotta stop you for a second with that 20,000 hats that you have going on, and let you be able to grace and, just give people, just a little bit of you, because somebody might needed to hear that. Somebody might needed that information. So, it's like, hey, we got to stop for a second and live in the here and now for just a second, just a little bit.
All right. So what you want me to say, Shay?
You still saying that, I'm happy to have you, being that, you get a chance to bless these people with your things and your talent and, who you are. So tell them about some future projects you have going on.
Okay. So future projects I have going. I'm still, marketing and trying to get the Busy Woman, up and running and adding to that Etsy store. And the next thing coming out for me is going to be a story about a young girl who this story is set in the 1970s during the Black Power movement. And the story of a young girl, she's in junior high or middle school, and she comes from a middle class, working class Black family, church on Sunday, and curl your hair on Saturday night, that whole thing. And her older sister comes home with an afro. And it kind of shakes up the world in her house.
Mm.
So I wrote that story some time ago. My younger sister has just been on me about getting that story finished and then unveiled, so that it really took my life. Because as I mentioned, as an author, I'm all of that. So I, took up a lot of room. But Natural Nia is the name of that story, and that story should be out. I'll say no later than June, because I like that's it, got to come out. So that'll be available. That's coming up soon. Coaching for the Business.
Yeah, wait for that.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I laugh every time I read it. I have a good time, and I am going to go back to the story that I started about this family of sharecroppers. It starts in the 1930s, 40s, and kind of brings us to present day. So once I get the story with the little girl and her with the afro out of the way, I'm going to go back, because that's like very embryonic stage. It's got editing. 29 edits got to happen to that first before you get that.
Listen, please believe I know the journey, because it's like, it's like we like, all right, we look at it, but hold on, I gotta add something to it, and wait, I need to fix this. So
yeah, oh my gosh, that's something you do know. Yeah, it's so funny, because what you first write and what the person gets in their hand, you wouldn't even recognize them.
nope. Because it goes through a whole different transformation. It's like, and you want to give them your best work, so it's definitely trial and different sets of editing, different sets of construction, match for what you need them to hear and read.
Yes, but it's worth it. It's all worth it.
Absolutely. Being able to bless people, and being able to, like we all say, be a vessel to give them information and give them some laughs and some understanding in the same time, because what I'm hearing is like, your books take us back, but it also gives us some entertainment in the midst of it. So I like it, because it's like you're giving some history and you giving some information that we still deal with now today, and then you giving some laughs with it too. So I love it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I tried to to honor us in that. I show up Black everywhere, whether it's day or whatever. And so I'm putting that forward always. And so I had someone ask me, would I ever write stories about white people? And I was like, I already got stories about white people.
Okay, we got too many.
Write stories about Black people.
Okay, so, I don't had somebody tell me that that I needed to change my something, but in other words, I promote African American authors. That's what I do. AALAC would never change. I would promote African American authors and literacy awareness until I die. Until he called me home. That's what I'm gonna do. I don't care I don't care who else you can be a part of what you want to be a part of. But when you come and be a part of this over here at AALAC, that you're coming to be a part of the African American Author Literacy Awareness Campaign. I'm bringing awareness to African American authors around this world and literacy within my community.
And it's so
I'm not concerned. Because y'all not concerned, because I'm gonna tell you about here in South Carolina. 49.
That's where you are. That's right. Yeah.
49.5. This new statistics. 2021 statistics just come out.
Wow.
49.5% of African Americans cannot read.
And that's
New York is not doing bad. Y'all 16 point. I think y'all 16.6, 16.7.
Criminal.
Like
yeah. So we have to, for us, by us. I appreciate that. I appreciate you sisters for, making this platform available, because, I can only get to so many people at a time, but who knows how many folks are with y'all tonight that, we're meeting each other this way. So I'm encouraged by what you're doing. I'm going to support what y'all do all the time. I thank you, for allowing me to be here. I hope, some of your viewers check out my work. I appreciate it.
People was waiting on that second book. What you said, the nappy what? Listen, some people's in here talking about, I can't wait. So listen, they ready.
All right, well, I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna stay ready. I'm gonna get it ready for them.
Look, they ready and they like, ooh, they love it. Listen, they listen.
Oh,
They
okay.
ready.
Wonderful. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Can you give them one positive word to leave them some motivation, and then two, let them know where they can find all of your things and how to get in contact with you. And make sure when you do leave, go back to the live and put all your information in it, to where
Okay.
they can find all the stuff and be able to contact you, especially for the busy woman thing you got going on. So yeah, put all that in there. 'Cause we got a whole lot
Okay.
of
I definitely will do that. I guess I say one word to continue to encourage is just, remind yourself. That's 3 words, but remind yourself of who you are and don't be afraid of that. Don't shrink away from your own brilliance and greatness, because, only you can give us what you came here to give us. You can get in contact with me at barutienterprises.com. You can email me at LaRonda at gmail.com, and all of my work that I'm in, all my books are available on Amazon, and then Coaching for the Busy Woman is available on Etsy at Book Boutique by LC, and that's ELLEC. So you can get Coaching for the Busy Woman there, but Unveiled is there on Amazon. I have a serial book novel that's just ebook, and it's available on Amazon as well, Jubilee's Journey. So it's available on Amazon as well. And Natural Nia, which will be coming out this year, that will also be available on Amazon as well.
Listen, we can't wait, and we are excited for all the endeavors and the blessings that is coming to you. Because I'm watching. Lord, listen, I'm putting you on watching.
You got your eye on me?
I got my eyes on you. I'm watching.
All right. Well, thank y'all so much.
Thank you for coming by.
It's wonderful to see you again. Wonderful to see you. Thank you guys so much. Y'all take care. Stay well.
Thank you.
Stay well. Bye-bye.
Oh, sis, I thank you for being my host today. I so love you.
Love you too. Thank you for having me. Thank you
So,
for having me.
Listen, it's an honor to have my big sis in the building. Like, I couldn't be blessed by nobody else.
Well, I'm excited about Monday.
I'm excited about
So I'm
Monday.
excited, and I thank you for allowing me to do this. So
I'm ready for Monday. So first, before we get off, Angela, I want you to tell them who you are. I want you to tell them how to find you. Yep. I want them to know about your 19 books.
actually 20.
Oh, see, we on 20 now. See, listen.
Yeah, we're actually on 20. I'm just waiting for and I think you are part of that
Yes,
book.
I'm in that one. That'll be my third one. That'll be my third one. I'm waiting.
So yeah, I think you are part of that one. I think hopefully Monday I should have word back by Monday.
Look, that'll be 3 for me, 20 for you. Hey.
So hopefully Monday I will receive the word that it's a go. But yeah, I'm excited about that. For those that do not know who I am Angela Thomas Smith. I am the founder of AALAC, which is the African American Author Literacy Awareness Campaign. I am also the CEO of Aspiring Authors Magazine. Y'all know my desire is just to bridge the gap between brown authors and for people to know who we are. That's all I want. And to touch on topics that's affecting our brown community, because people don't want to talk about stuff that's affecting us. They want to brush it under the rug. They want to hide it. They want to act like we don't matter when we matter. So I use my platform to provide people that may think they don't have a voice or think that they may have an outlet, to let them know that they have a voice and to know that they have an outlet. And if they don't know how, I'll show them.
Amen.
I will show them. I will put them on the path, because I want to see people walking in their purpose. I want people to know that you didn't just get dropped out of the sky, that there's a purpose for you being here. And it's up to you to find out what that purpose is. There's things inside of you, and there's things that you experience every day that tells you what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And even that, if you are a believer and you read the word, if you continue to read the word, you'll begin to find yourself in that word. Not only that, he'll begin to speak to you. We come into this world, we're born blind, and eventually those eyes open. We can physically, we can see out these eyes right here. But I'm talking about this eye back here. That third eye that's on the inside of you that you can see once you take that stuff in. Once you take it in, you can see beyond this physical stuff. You can begin to see insight. And you really can begin to see what's on the inside of you and understand who you are. When you understand whose you are, that's when you can understand who you are. But see, we run from that because when we find out things about ourselves, we become accountable for it. And we don't want to be accountable for it. And see, people get scared, but see, you have to understand. People don't talk about stuff because they don't want you to know. They want you to think that you can't make mistakes. Yeah, you can make mistakes. Make mistakes. It ain't the mistakes. It ain't the mistakes, y'all. It's when you make the mistakes and you stay down, and then you want people to have pity parties, and you want to throw the campovers and sleepovers and stuff like that. No, we ain't doing that.
Yep.
We're not doing that in this season. You fall, you dust yourself off, you pick yourself up. We're not doing that. I ain't even getting to the ground. I may slip, but I'm not falling, not in this season. I'm fighting my way up. They gonna have to catch me mid-air. I'm not falling. I'm telling you, I can't even swim. They throw me out in the water. I bet you I learn how to swim.
Tell them again.
I bet you I learn how to swim. Not in this season. And we as brown people, we got to learn how to support each other. We got to learn to come together. There's no reason why we shouldn't be supporting each other. No reason at all.
No.
They've been doing it.
Yeah.
And you can be dead wrong because I look at how these people in the community raised all this money for that officer that killed Breonna Taylor. You killed that girl because you knew that was her house.
Yep.
You knew that was her house. She was a first offender like you. So you knew who she was. And when that address came, you knew that was her address. Because my nephew is a first offender. And you better believe if something come over in his area, them people know, oh, let me call him see if he okay. So you can't tell me they didn't know. We got to come together and we got to stand for ourselves. We got to stand for each other. We got to get back to that village mentality.
Yep.
We can't keep just worrying about me. No, we got to get back to the community because ain't no way we shouldn't be walking. I live in an apartment complex. Ain't no way my neighbor should walk out that door and I not speak to my neighbor. Ain't no way the one upstairs I shouldn't even know why I don't know them. Why I don't know the one that live back there? Why I don't know that one? Why they don't know me? You know why? Because we stay to ourselves, and then a lot of us don't use this pandemic. See, we ain't got to hide behind the mask no more because we ain't even leaving, going outside. We right here. We don't even want to come. We don't even want to come on camera no more. We hide behind the cameras. We don't even come on camera no more. But we don't learn how to block the cameras out. And it's just getting worse and worse during this pandemic.
It is. But this is why we're going to keep doing this, walking in the victory and getting people to understand, to come along and be a village. And I think you for giving me a platform to open my podcast and then open it for others. Because without you, it would be no walking in the victory, would it?
It's just like God is good. And
all the time.
I can't reach everybody. And people got to understand that. We all have people that are assigned to us. And if it's people on my platform that you can reach from your level of domestic violence, we both are domestic violence survivors, but our stories are totally different. And there may be somebody that's going through something that she went through on my platform, and they can't relate to my story. Only thing they can relate to the fact is that I've been through domestic violence, but they can't relate to my story, and they trying to get out. But then they go over and they hear her story and they hear how she got out and they're able to leave. But we don't want people to follow other people because they're my people.
I
You ain't
say,
gave birth to nobody. And when did they start doing that? You can't buy nobody. And you ain't gave birth to where your babies at. I hope they at your house.
listen.
And no grown person that's searching that need to be delivered and healed.
Mm-hmm.
You talking about your people. Okay. That's what's wrong with these churches now too.
Yeah. Amen to that. Come on now. Pam said, come on. Pam
We
said,
got to
come
get
on.
beyond that. We got to get beyond that. Too many people hurt.
Yeah.
Too many people living in denial. Too many people living double lives and secret lives.
Mm-hmm.
They wearing mask on top of mask on top of mask.
Mass. And maybe some other masses behind those too.
Okay. Don't know
Absolutely.
who they are. They
And
don't know
still
if they
trying to figure
going
it
or
out.
coming. They don't
Absolutely.
know.
Yeah.
And then some of these people, they walking. You see them walking around, but they sleep. They ain't even woke. They sleep.
Mm-hmm. Or they just too comfortable. They're comfortable in the situation. They're just not trying to. They see it, but they ain't doing nothing about it.
Ain't no way I can get comfortable in something that's that uncomfortable. Ain't no way. Ain't no way you can get. Man, it's okay. When I tell you, the shaking gonna come, and some people gonna be like, "Wow, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe." I'm telling you, because I'm in a place right now. Till I look back at my life, I can't believe I allowed, I allowed,
Yeah.
I allowed all that crap.
And that's what I talk about too, like the what is it called? Accountability. Accounting the parts that you played into certain situations, and we play a lot into certain stuff that we allowed, and we knew it wasn't right, or we knew that person shouldn't have been around us, and we just sat there and was like, well, I'm gonna do this anyway.
And
But you
accept it,
knew better and accepted.
accept it.
So I
And then
totally understand all that.
I want people to understand why they accept these things. Know your value. Know your
Mm-hmm.
worth.
Know your worth.
Know your
Know your
value.
yes. Know
Love
what
is real, and it ain't that. Oh, he complete me. No, because he'll
no,
never complete you.
you complete
He'll
yourself.
never complete you. He will never complete you. Love is real,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
people been learning how to walk in it.
love ain't supposed to hurt.
It'll never hurt.
So
I'm
if
telling
it's truly if you're being hurt by love, it ain't love.
you. I'm telling you. Look at you, and stop looking at people around you because they have no hell or no heaven to put you in now. That's what
Absolutely.
the L for love stand for now. You are overcomer. You are overcomer.
That V for value. Value yourself, your self love, your self worth. And
Know
what
who
you
you are.
say, E's for evolve.
Evolve.
Learn to
Evolve.
grow.
So you can go to the next level.
Higher.
So you can get to eternity. I want to
Mm-hmm.
get to eternity. I don't want to do all this here on earth
Yeah.
and then get up there and he say, "Depart from me."
Mm-hmm.
You eating. Oh no. No, I don't want. I want him to say, "Well done, my good and faithful servant."
Amen.
That's what I want him to say.
Me too.
So I can't sit down. I can't sit down on him. I can't sit down on the gifts that he's given me. I can't sit down on my story and my testimony. I
Amen.
can't do it.
And
I
y'all
can't
need to
do it when people out
understand.
here hurt and
Yeah.
people and
And that's what my hashtag is for this year is actually you deserve to heal. Because the thing about it is you gotta want to heal. You gotta want to take the steps to become a better version of yourself. Nobody can heal you unless you want to heal. If you don't want to heal, nobody can make you heal. You gotta want to do that work. You gotta want to take that path. You gotta want to be, pouring into yourself and motivating yourself and doing the work to make yourself evolve and elevate and inspire and motivate yourself. You have to take the knowledge that is given to you as well because it's there. It's inside of you. And if you can't take the steps, you're gonna stay stuck and stay stagnant.
that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Just plain and simple. And I'm telling you, if you out there and you listening, or if you catch this replay, or you catch this somewhere, however you catch it, if you catch it at a later date, whenever, I'm telling you, this message was for you because you need to come out of whatever it is you're going.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't place you here for that. Jeremiah 29:11 said he got a plan for you to prosper you, for being good health, for you to have hope in the future. Your future is not in that. It's not in turmoil. It's
No.
not in domestic. It's not in confusion. because he's
Mm.
not the author of confusion.
And no, he's not.
Find out who you are. Discover your worth. Know your value. You are a woman of indefinable worth. And know that. Kings, you are. Know that you are a king. Know that you don't have to settle for any and everything.
No, you don't. Learn the word no, and that'll be the first step to your peace.
Okay?
I'm not accepting that.
You don't have to.
You know what I mean? You don't have to. You don't need validation from nobody else but yourself. That's it.
We possess so much power and we don't even understand what's on the inside of us and what we have. If people just knew what they walked in,
Yeah.
if they just knew the promise, if they just knew, they would do a whole lot different. I'm so glad I woke up. It took me a long time because I ain't no spring chicken. It took
Listen,
me
I
a
think
long
me
time.
either. I ain't no spray chicken either. Listen, it took me a while to get to this journey, but I'm here. And I'm here and I'm speaking and I'm talking about it and I'm here to help where I can, but I only can help you if you want to help yourself.
Yep. Only if you won't help.
That's it. I can't force it on you. I can only put the words and the information there. From there, you got to take the rest of the steps to go on your journey.
That's it.
That's it.
But I want to thank you for allowing me to come on here tonight. I tell you, I have truly been blessed throughout this day. I tell you, God has truly been moving, and I can see Him moving in your life. I thank you for all that you do because you are amazing. I listened to you last night
Oh,
on the platform that you was on. I think it was
African American.
Detroit.
It was a
Detroit.
Detroit fifth annual African American Black History Book Expo. I
Yes.
did last.
Yes. And it was amazing. The host was amazing, and there was some amazing people on there. But you are amazing. Every time I hear your story, I hear something different that I didn't hear before. And that's just God just revealing different stuff to you when you need to receive it. And I tell you, you are amazing. Keep sharing your story. Keep
Yeah.
sharing your message because it's gonna bring healing to a lot of people. So I thank you for what you're doing.
I thank you for pouring into me because it's days when I be like, oh God. But you got to have a tribe to be able to feed, give you food as you give other people food. So I want to thank you for being my big sister and feeding and pouring into me and inspiring me and continue to tell me you can do it, you got this. And everybody else that's in my tribe that pour into me, I love y'all too. And I think everybody walking in a victory. We please. My anniversary is Monday, guys. I will be 2 years old for my first book, The Mask Behind the Mask, and we will be on this platform again at 7 o'clock, turning up with some poetry, some singing, some interviews with a couple of folks, and we want y'all to come and enjoy. Stop in, say hi, say happy anniversary, drop a video, whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do to bless me and give me my roses while I'm here. I take it
That's
all
it.
in. It's definitely been a journey, and I still got more work to do.
That's it.
So don't forget, next month, March 20th, I'll be back with Walking in a Victory again. So tune in. Follow me. Follow Aspiring Author platform. Follow me on Facebook as Sheena Gadine or Sheena Gadine Author. On Instagram, it's testimony. It's the app. I actually changed it. It's Sheena Gadine Author on there now too. And my website is www.theladybehindthemask.com. And I love y'all. And we will see y'all again next month. And everybody that's joining us, I will see y'all Monday.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Thank you.